Hey everyone, my name is Perry and welcome back to the cassette phase. So about a month ago, I kind of took a chance and I did a video where I talked about the shoes, the sneakers that we wore back in the 80s and the 90s. Because as I mentioned in that video, I sometimes like to wear things that remind me of that era. For one, it takes me back, of course, but also I just really like the aesthetic from back then. It just appeals to me. So I'm going to go out on another limb here and do a similar video, only this time we're going to talk about clothing. Specifically, things like vintage t-shirts and vintage sweatshirts, but also retro clothing items too. Stuff that isn't actually vintage from the 80s or the 90s, but it reminds you of that time period. So I'm going to take you over the rug here and take you through some of the items that I have and talk about memories of certain brands. And then also, I want to go through the clothing section of a couple of catalogs that I have from the 80s. So if you're willing to give me a chance here to bring you a dose of nostalgia, but in a little bit different way today, then come hang out. Okay everyone, welcome back to the rug. And I figured we'd start with vintage t-shirts. So I've got a stack of, true vintage tees here that I'm going to kind of take you through. We'll move kind of quickly and just show you what we're looking at here. So you're going to notice that a lot of these are like souvenir vacation t-shirts. They pop up a lot in like thrift stores and some like online shops for super cheap. And I just like the way they look. And you're going to hear me also talk a lot about how these t-shirts from back in the 90s and even some of these from the 80s, how they're constructed. The thick material, a lot of them are made in USA, and they're just a little bit more substantial feeling than some of the newer t-shirts that you get today. Anyway, we've got one here from Virginia Beach, which, it's kind of weird because I've never actually been there, but I sure like the shirt. I like the graphic. I like this faded black color, but let's see if it gives us a year here. 1994. And then if you look at the tag, let's see, it's a power tee from Oneida, and you can see there, made in USA. And sorry, when I get close up on these, there's gonna be fuzzies and things. Can't do anything about it, unfortunately, but I promise you all these shirts are clean. So just another, this one gets worn a lot in the summertime, so let's keep it going. Okay, so you've probably seen me wear this or the black version that I was wearing in the video today in the intro. I love finding these old Wilson t-shirts from the 90s. Like I mentioned, they're just really well made. Like they're thick, they're heavyweight. The stitching is really solid on these. Which is just, the proof is right there. They've held up for all this time. Let's see. Yeah, again, made in USA. Yeah, an XXL. I like these things to be a little bit baggy. I am 6'2", 210. Maybe 210 on the weekends, 205 during the week. You know how it goes, but I like these to fit a little bit more baggy, and for whatever reason, they're easier to find in extra large. So, and I do find that a lot of vintage clothing runs a little small. So I'd rather just, err on the side of caution and get it bigger. And then, you can always try to shrink it up a little bit in the wash and in the dryer. But yeah, I love the old Wilson, the tennis brand. It's still around, but I just love the clothing that they did in the 90s. Just it has a real good feel to it. Feels like the t-shirts that we wore as kids. What do we have next? We've got another souvenir vacation t-shirt. This time, Grand Canyon, which is a place that I have been. And I don't think there's a date on this, but you can just tell this has got to be 90s, right? It just has that look with the colors and the graphic. Let's see here. Fruit of the Loom. Again, made in USA. Good, thick, sturdy quality. Yeah, that's another fun one to wear in the summertime. All right, this is one of my favorites, despite the fact that it's a super bright orange color. You guys know I like orange, but even for me, this is a little bit hard to pull off sometimes. But this is from Disney's Wide World of Sports. And check out that tag. Does that not just scream 90s? I don't think there's much more information than that, but again, made in USA. This one has a graphic on the back. Let's flip it over. But yeah, check out the graphic on the back of there. How rad is that? You know, and I did love to skateboard a lot when I was younger. I'll still get out on the board, you know, once in a while now, but I don't do anything crazy. I just cruise around and that's it. But I just think that graphic is so cool. Even cooler that it's a vintage tee from the Disney Wide World of Sports. All right, another vacation souvenir tee, this time from the Oregon coast. The Sea Lion Caves. That just looks like late 90s to me, like mid to late 90s. It makes me think of, like, I don't know, movies like Flipper and Free Willy and things like that. That's just what it makes me think of with the way that graphic looks. Let's see here. Prairie Mountain, American sportswear, made in USA. 100% cotton. This one's a little bit lighter weight than some of the others, but still feels way more substantial and sturdy than most of the t-shirts you find now. Okay, now this is a true vintage, as you can tell. It's really worn. It's another Wilson athletic wear from the 90s. But this thing is a tank. I don't even mind that it's all faded like this. I actually kind of like that. I think it gives it character. You know, you could just imagine that somebody played softball in this back in the day. Again, made in USA, extra large, Wilson. Super thick and sturdy, heavyweight. The only downside about some of these is if it's a really hot day, it can be a little bit too warm. These shirts can be a little bit too warm, but for like the spring and the fall, these are perfect. And then the last one from the vintage stack, a Surfin' USA t-shirt, and this is from JanSport. I still have one of their backpacks. I've had it for years and years, but they also made clothing, and this is an example. Made in USA, JanSport. Really cool graphic there. Another great summertime t-shirt. So yeah, that's the vintage, at least the ones that I had on hand and handy and ready to go for today. Let's move on to the next category. Okay, so next up, let's take a look at t-shirts, but this time we'll do retro. So these are modern, you know, current day t-shirts, but have some kind of retro design or retro graphic or retro, you know, pop culture item on them, which, as you guys know from watching this channel, I love to wear those. So first up, we've got a Mega Man shirt. And the first couple shirts here are both from 80s Tees, 80stees.com. You know, they're pretty good quality. They're decent. Let's see, we've got American Classics. I like that they have tall sizes because, like I said, I am 6'2". Sometimes I like my shirts to be a little bit longer. Yeah, I just loved the graphic on that one. Big fan of Mega Man. You know, and I'll be honest, it's harder to find like pop culture t-shirts, retro tees like these that are really good quality. You know, these are pretty decent from 80s Tees, but a lot of the times, like the ones you find at, you know, obviously like Target or Walmart or even like, I don't know, Box Lunch and Hot Topic and places like that, they're just real thin. They don't hold their shape for very long, unfortunately, or the graphic doesn't last for very long. These have been pretty good so far, but none of them are going to have the same like heft to them and structure to them that those vintage tees that I just showed you will. But they're still fun, a little bit more lightweight. But yeah, that's just such a fun shirt. Now, I know you all have seen me wear this one. I've actually had a couple of people ask me about that. Again, from 80s Tees. I think it's printed on the same, yep, American Classics, excuse me. So the Herculoids was one of my favorite shows as a kid. And this predates us as 80s and 90s kids. I'm pretty sure this was 60s. But you know, they ran it on like USA Cartoon Express and some of the cartoon blocks that we had around in the 80s. And that's where I was introduced to these characters. And I just love the aesthetic of that show. It makes me think of like He-Man meets Star Wars or something like that, you know. Just really fun, and the graphic on here is just so cool. Haven't had this one for long, but it's quickly become one of my absolute favorite shirts to wear. All right, so this one came from 8-Bit Zombie, who I've talked about his online shop before on the channel. Just great stuff, great shirts and great stickers, and even things like action figures. Check out the graphic on here. We've got Saturday Morning Cartoon Club, official member. And just from far away, you know, if you're out in public, it just looks like a kind of a cool graphic tee. No one's going to be like, oh, hey, that dude's really into cartoons, unless they look at it a little bit more closely. And I like things like that. You got Skeletor there. You got 8-Bit Zombie cereal. I think it's funny that He-Man is sitting there watching Skeletor on TV. Even like the details down to the tablecloth. Like, I love that. I think we all ate our breakfast off a tablecloth like that at some point in our lives. Yeah, there it is. 8-Bit Zombie. And I like that he puts 1980 with a little infinity sign right there. That's just so cool. Love everything about that. So, you know, it's a very lightweight, kind of thin. Let's see, it's District. Very important tee. You know, so it's just okay, but it's held up so far. And I always like wearing it. Okay. And right out of the gate here, we've got a giant California raisin on a skateboard. How can you not love that? I don't even remember where I got this, but I haven't worn it very much. Let's see. Gildan Hammer. Yeah, so like it's supposed to be like their heavyweight version, Gildan's heavyweight version, but it's still not even close to some of those vintage ones. It may be a little bit thicker than your standard t-shirt, but it's pretty basic stuff that you would find anywhere. But I'm fine with that. The fit is okay. You know, it doesn't fit exactly how I would like it to, but it's going to go great under like flannels and under hoodies and things like that. Because you just can't... How can you not appreciate that eye-catching graphic right there? Nothing subtle about it, but I love it. All right, and last, and I know I've worn this one before on the channel as well. I'm a big X-Men fan. Sorry, fuzzies. I just thought the graphic on that was really cool. I think this was a Hot Topic one. I think I got it online a couple of years back. But you got that 90s X-Men animated series, you know, cast, which is my favorite iteration of the X-Men. And that's just printed on just Marvel. Doesn't even have the size or anything, but pretty sure that's a XXL. And it fits kind of baggy like I like it, so. Okay, and I've got one more little stack of retro tees here that I wanted to go through with you. First one being one that I've worn on the channel quite a bit, because it's one of my most worn t-shirts, and this is that Back to the Future Racing t-shirt that I got, I believe from Tilly's, I think. Riot Society. I think that's where I found this, like on a clearance rack. Now this has like a great kind of like boxy, baggy, oversized fit, which is cool. And it also has a really nice graphic on the back. So let me show you that really quick. Okay, there we are. Yeah, I just love that it has like that, I don't know, like that vaporwave sun, that like that synthwave aesthetic sun right there, just really eye-catching. You know, very on trend, I think, with the kids right now, but you know, for someone like me that's in their 40s that grew up watching Back to the Future, I just really like this shirt. So yeah, wear this one a lot. Okay, and then these last two come from, I don't know how to pronounce the name of the online store. It's H-O-M-A-G-E. Is that homage or is it homage? Homage, one of the two. Yeah, see. And they do great like retro graphic sports tees and sweatshirts and all kinds of things, but they also do some great pop culture ones. I love the color of this, and then of course, how can you not love that Shredder graphic? I mean, it's just amazing. And the lettering, I just love that. Now the only downside for me on these shirts, and this is just personal preference, these are like super thin. They're like, I think they're that tri-blend material, but they just feel like, I don't know, they feel like they're almost gonna fall apart if you, and I don't put any of this stuff through the dryer. You know, I wash this all on cool and I hang dry it so it doesn't go through the dryer, but I don't know. And I guess the positive of it is it's not as hot, you know, it's a little bit more breathable. So these Texas summers, I can get away with wearing these and feeling a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, they're really, really thin, especially compared to some of the other shirts that I like to wear. But another one from that place, we've got this really cool Topps, of course, the baseball card brand. I just love the simplicity of that. It's a great shirt to wear in the summertime with, you know, a baseball cap from your favorite team. Just really cool, simple, goes with pretty much everything. Classic logo there too. And again, from Homage, I believe is how we say it. And I've got a couple more things from that place to show you when we start doing sweatshirts here in a minute. So yeah, let's keep going. Okay, let's move on to something that I haven't been able to wear lately, but hopefully in the next couple of months, I'll be able to start wearing this stuff again. Let's look at hoodies and sweatshirts. And these are all gonna be retro. I don't really have any true vintage sweatshirts to show you today, but some of these you would never know. So first up, let's take a look at this Cowboys sweatshirt. As you guys know, I do live in the Dallas, Texas area, general area. And so I've been a Cowboys fan my whole life. And this harkens back to those Super Bowl days in the 90s. Now, this comes from a clothing brand that I hadn't thought about since high school, honestly, and maybe early college. But this came from Abercrombie. Anybody remember Abercrombie and Fitch? Like I said, I hadn't thought about them in years, but when I saw that they were doing these vintage-inspired NFL sweatshirts, and they have these for, I think, every team, I just had to check them out. And sure enough, the quality on here is phenomenal. It's thick, but it's also super soft, which is a great combination. The graphic is great. The helmet itself is actually embroidered. You can see that. And again, obviously not true vintage, but definitely gives you that feel. It's got a big roomy fit, so it's going to be really, really comfortable to wear this in the fall. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I just picked this up recently, so I haven't even had a chance to wear it outside of trying it on. But yeah, really excited about that one. A little bit pricey, but I think for the quality that you're getting, this is one of those sweatshirts that stays with you, I think, for pretty much, a decade or longer, or maybe even like for life, if you take good care of it. So to me, it's worth the price tag. Yeah, this is gonna get great use. Let's stick with the Cowboys here, and then we'll move on, because I know a lot of you guys probably aren't Cowboys fans, which is fine, I get that. You either love them or you hate them, I think. So this is a sweatshirt from Homage. And like their t-shirts, it's a little thinner than I would typically like for a sweatshirt, but it does make for a great lightweight sweatshirt. So if it's in the fall or the spring, and I'll even wear these with shorts, just a lightweight hoodie is always a good thing to have. Now I will say these, they run a little bit small. I think they're meant to be a little bit more form-fitting. So I think the first sweatshirt I ever got from them, I got an XL, and it fits me like a large. Like, it fits kind of snug, a little bit more tapered than I typically like. I like my sweatshirts to be baggy and oversized. So I would definitely size up if you like your shirts like that too. I mean, your sweatshirts. But the quality is pretty good on these. I got a little embroidery patch there with their logo. And they have some just great graphic options for every team and all kinds of pop culture stuff. All right, let's move away from sports for a second. All right. Some of you may have already seen this. This is this came from Target. And I don't usually like to buy clothes from Target because it only lasts me usually like 3 months. But I've taken good care of this one and I've had it for a while now. Just a great Ninja Turtles sweatshirt. And I like this purple color. I think it looks awesome. I mean, how rad do they look there? I like how they have, no pupils, like the toys, like the action figures or like the comic series from back in the day. Yeah, Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles tag there. It's not the greatest quality, but it's fun to wear. It's very lightweight. It runs a little small, like it's a 2X, but it fits like an extra large. But I got it on clearance. I think I bought it in the summertime or the spring, when all the fall and winter stuff was going on clearance. Yeah, so it's happy. I'm happy to have it. And this X-Men hoodie, I should have looked up where I got this, and if I remember when I'm editing, I'll go in and put the name of the shop. I'll insert it. Let's see if it says here. Oh yeah, there it is. White Gold Industries. They've got some really cool, like limited edition superhero graphics on t-shirts and sweatshirts. And that's the Jim Lee art for X-Men from the 90s. And I just like how simple it is. Again, like from far away out in public, it just looks like a cool graphic hoodie. Black and white with that little pop of red with that X-Men. But if you get close up, you can see that it's, comic book art, iconic comic book art. So quality is decent, nothing special, just a basic hoodie. It feels like a standard hoodie that you'd get at any store. But when you're going with something like this, you're buying it for the graphic. And that's what I did. And I really like it. So, all right, let's move along. Okay, I have just a couple pairs of shorts that I wanted to show you. The first pair being just a great pair of shorts from Gecko. And these are meant to look like they're kind of acid washed, like old acid washed denim, but they're sweat shorts, so they're really comfortable. Yeah, Gecko is still around. I've got a t-shirt from them as well. But these shorts are pretty simple outside of this little logo here, this little logo hit on the leg. But I just liked the look of those. Super comfortable as well. Yeah, check out Gecko's site if you haven't seen it. It's got like hypercolor t-shirts and splatter painted t-shirts and all kinds of fun stuff from the late 80s, early 90s. And then I wasn't sure if I was going to include a pair of Nike woven flow shorts, but not really a retro item other than the fact that they remind me of the shorts that we wore as kids. They remind me of like Umbros, kind of, or some of like the running shorts that we wore, way back in the 80s. Although these are a little bit longer. I got these in a tall size because I'm a little taller, and I don't like my shorts to be too short. But these are comfortable. I wear these all the time. I've got a green pair on right now. They're just great. They go with everything. I feel like they give off a little bit of a retro vibe. Really good pair of shorts. And the last thing I want to show you before we take a look at the catalogs, I've got this great old vintage windbreaker. Remember the days when we wore windbreakers all the time? Yeah, I never really outgrew that, along with many other things, but I just like a good windbreaker. Especially one that's in like classic colors like this. Sometimes you can find them like with the neon color hits on them and all kinds of cool like 90s graphics and things, but this one's just really simple. It doesn't even have a brand in it. The tag is long gone. So I can't verify, when it's from, but I can just tell by the construction of it and the look of it that it's definitely vintage. I don't think they're making stuff like this anymore, or at least not that I've seen. But yeah, great lightweight jacket to wear, rainy day or just like a cool fall day. You can find vintage windbreakers for pretty cheap online if you just look around. eBay, Depop, things like that. And you can check thrift stores and estate sales and things like that too, but sometimes it's easier just to go to some place where they're more curated to find things like this. But I am not too cool to go out walking my dog wearing something like that. And the last thing I wanted to show you guys today, as I mentioned, I've got a couple of old catalogs here. I've got JCPenney from 1989, and then I've got Sears. It doesn't say the year on the front, but right here, 1986. And I've marked a few pages that I want to show you because these are super thick, obviously. And as I mentioned before, when we get closer to Christmas, to the holiday season, I'm going to do videos where we'll flip through like 30 or 40 pages of these catalogs at a time and just talk about all the cool stuff that's in there. But for today, let's stick with the focus of clothing, and let me show you a couple things in here. Okay, so this page, I just liked the sports apparel. Like these satin baseball jackets are awesome. And see, these are the items that I feel like some of these newer retro reprints are trying to look like. And look how cool those gym bags are. And those hats. Just awesome. And remember, you could get like a jersey that showed just the team name and then it would say XXL. I feel like that's something we all had at least one of. And look at that old Broncos helmet, so cool. And then you got a Washington Redskins sweatshirt with the old like collegiate looking seal, which was really popular back then, to put that on a sweatshirt. Yeah, I just really liked that page. I think even the next page too had some cool stuff. Let's see. Yeah, here's some of the kind of the windbreaker stuff that I was just showing you. Track suits and jogging suits and things like that. Exercise clothing. Love it. All right, let's jump ahead. Now this page, I just thought these shirts were cool. Stripes with the graphics. Makes me think of, it's not this brand, but it makes me think of things like Bugle Boy that we wore back in the day, or Gotcha, or even like Ocean Pacific, OP. That's what it makes me think of. Yeah, these sweaters are still cool. I'd wear something like that right now. All right, let's see what else we got. So I marked this page mainly because of these kids sweatshirts. Just how awesome are these? You got a real Ghostbusters there with a Slimer on the sleeve. And then you've got a Nintendo sweatshirt with Super Mario 2 on one sleeve, The Adventures of Link on the other, and then on the front you've got the championship trophy. I love that. So cool. Now I had to include some of the girl stuff too. We do have a few women that watch this channel, so I don't want you to feel left out. The reason I jumped to this page is because this kind of stuff is what I remember the kids in my class wearing. Like a 4th grader or a 5th grader, the girls in my class, this is the kind of stuff that they would have on. That's exactly what it made me think of. The denim and these bright colors. Yeah, it's really cool. So that's it for this one. Let's move on to the other one. Now again, this one's a little bit older. We're talking about 1986 here. Okay, first up, how cool is this He-Man ensemble that this kid's got? He's got his roller skates on over his shoulder, and he's decked out in He-Man from head to toe. Fleece sets, your choice. $16.99, $17.99 for for the sweatshirt and the pants. Pretty good. And then down here you've got Thundercats. That's cool with the sword on the pant leg there. You got just a generic Ninja, which was really common back then, I feel like. And then Mickey Mouse. Let's see what else we have in here. I went back to the sportswear section here. Hey, there's Dale Murphy. One of my favorite players when I was a kid. I've got so many baseball cards of Dale Murphy. Shout out Doug if you're watching. Little Braves reference there in one of my videos. But yeah, this is some of the stuff that I feel like, again, they're trying to recreate now. You know, you can either pay top dollar for a true vintage one, or some of these clothing brands are just recreating this stuff, which is cool. This page, I think, oh yeah, I like these sweaters. You know, you got like the Bill Cosby, or who was it from Fresh Prince? Carlton. These graphic sweaters. And this is going to be stereotypical, I think, because I am technically a counselor, but I would wear these. I would wear one of these right now with like some joggers and a baseball hat, but I'd still wear it. I think those are cool. All right. More sportswear here. I know I was talking a lot about Wilson earlier, but I liked Spalding too. And I think before the days of athleisure, when people like me worked from home all the time, and you know, these types of clothes were actually meant for exercising. I don't think you saw people in the grocery store and, you know, out at the mall wearing this kind of stuff like you do now. But I think that was it for this one. Yep, I'm gonna save the rest for, like I said, upcoming videos where we go through these things front to back over several episodes. So anyway, thanks for hanging out. And there we are. So I hope you all enjoyed taking a look back at some of the clothing brands from our youth. And if you did, consider subscribing. But for now, and as always, relax, enjoy life, and be kind. We'll see you in the next one.